Welcome back, guys. First of all, sorry I've been away for so long. Health, work, kids, all that stuff comes into play. But I'm happy to be back, so we'll jump straight in. Automatic versus manual Skyline, what's better? Automatic. So, for those of you who don't know what automatic is, basically it's sometimes abbreviated to an auto or an AT. It's a multi-speed transmission used in motor vehicles that does not require any driver input, basically no clutch or gear lever. And it typically includes a transmission, axle, and differential in one integrated assembly. So that's all you really need to know about an automatic. Manual, for those of you who don't know what a manual is, manual transmission, also known as a manual gearbox, abbreviated as MT, and sometimes called a standard transmission in Canada. Also Japan, I believe they call it a standard transmission, is a multi-speed motor vehicle transmission system where gear changes require the driver to manually select clutch, stick, you know the deal. Manual-matic, this applies to obviously Skyline drivers and anyone with a Tiptronic gearbox. Basically it enables the driver to select a specific gear by using either paddle shifts or steering wheel buttons or a modern up and down on the control gear selector. Now we're going to get into these cars in a bit more detail, but this is my friend. I'm using his video. I've got all the links down in the description for his Instagram and also his channel, so go and give him a follow and a like. Basically, there's two guys here. One's Ted's. Ted drives the white R34. This one is his friend's, a silver one. This one here was an NA, manual NA, but it's had the engine swapped with a Stager engine, which is also a Neo. But we'll get into that a bit more shortly. So you can see some stats popping up here, which this is from Ted's video, so I'll just utilize what he's put in there as well. This is Ted's car. Basically, his is an automatic, not too much done, still standard ECU, still using the side-mounted intercooler at the front, so he's not running high boost or anything like that. The car is just pretty much standard bar and exhaust and pod filter and a DCAT, which is had the DCAT. So basically, in a nutshell, both cars are very similar, but there's a few bits and pieces that I want to go through before we start this. So ECU, importantly, is stock as well. He's using a blow-off valve, HKS blow-off valve. So basically, nothing really to write home on in terms of what it's got done to the car. Now, first things first, I want to run through the stats of the cars first and just give you a bit of my insight, that is. So the manual version, or the manual car here, has an RB25 DT Neo swapped from a Stage engine. These engines are basically exactly the same as the R34 engines. It's got the gearbox is a NA RB25D manual gearbox. I'm not sure what the difference are between the NA and turbo gearboxes. Differentials open, aftermarket ECU, 8,000 RPM redline, stock boost, turbo back 3-inch exhaust, DCAT, pod filter HKS, and a 2.5-inch front mount intercooler. Now, it's worth saying this straight off the bat, that on paper, this car here looks like it will wipe the absolute floor with the other Skyline. Aftermarket ECU, front mount intercooler, I mean, given it's running stock boost, whatever, but from on paper and the fact that everyone truly believes that manuals are so much more quicker than autos, this should technically wipe the absolute floor with it. And this also has an LSD as well, a one-way LSD. So it really should wipe the floor with it. Now, I want to get into the RB25 DT Neo, or more specifically the turbo auto R34. As you can see here, RB25 DT Neo, 4-speed automatic gearbox, one-way LSD, stock ECU, 6,900 RPM redline, stock 0.75 bar of boost, exhaust is stock downpipe 3-inch exhaust with the DCAT, HKS SSQV blow-off valve, apexy pod filter, and intercooler is stock. I think this is really important to mention that the intercooler is your standard side mount intercooler, which is located at the front. Now, before we kick off with this, I just need to say I do not condone any form of street racing or misuse of any vehicles. I believe it gives people a bad name and it gives our cars a reputation they don't deserve. So with that in mind, let's move forward and obviously see what happens here. Again, I don't know the rules and laws in Georgia, but one can only assume. But let's see how this automatic fares against a manual. So, what's the conclusion? Well, there is none, really. So, I guess for me, this video is two things. One, it basically showcases that an automatic R34 is quick, and for the most part, seemed to be quicker than that manual R34, despite having a few more extra engine mods and being a manual, which is always said to me a lot quicker. There's a lot of driver input in a manual vehicle, and a lot of people say it feels more. I get more of a feeling from driving a manual. And look, my MR2 is manual. I can semi-agree with that, but not 100%. So I guess, so let's take the new GTR, for example. If a manual transmission was the best way to put power to the rear wheels or front wheels or all wheels, it would be in the new GTR. Same with your Volkswagens, your Rs and your GTIs, and I think they're still manual, but your Rs and various other vehicles that utilize a manual-matic or DSG gearbox or a dual clutch gearbox. I guess if you have a problem with the auto side of things, then you don't really like the new GTRs, or you don't really like Lamborghinis, Ferraris, anything that utilizes a gearbox that doesn't use a clutch, basically, one that you have to push in with your foot. So in essence, I guess this gave me a bit of a smirk, because I know a lot of people were expecting a manual R34 to win. I'm sure I'm going to get some backlash from people saying this is an unfair test, and if it was from start to finish or dead stop to start to whatever, then it probably would have been different. Well, we don't have those videos, and I'm not going to go make it with any of my friends that have manual R34s, because I'm not going to break the law. But that being the case, I guess it showcases the fact that with a bit of work, if we're talking straight line speed here, guys, honestly, you could do the same amount of work to each car and you'd probably be even. If you're driving on a track or in the hills or something like that, I mean, a manual gearbox would probably be better, or would be better. But in saying that, if you were to go and get a shift kit or do a few other bits and pieces with your automatic, I can't see why you'd be lagging behind in a lot, if I'm honest. So food for thought, guys. I know that there's a lot of manual lovers out there. I also know there's a lot of auto R34 drivers, and since I am an auto R34 driver, look, I'm going to represent what I've got and showcase what's real. If that was a manual R34 absolutely demolishing an auto, I would be truthful with it and I would say it. I haven't found any videos of that. That's not to say they're not out there. I'm always looking and stuff. But look, guys, thank you for tuning in again. Thank you for everyone who subscribes, likes, and all that jazz. Appreciate it. I'm going to try. I can't promise anything, but I'll try and get more videos out sooner rather than later. But yeah, guys, honestly, thank you. And I hope you enjoy this one. Bye.